I'm sure there's like an Eminem joke in there somewhere.
It's only if you add meatballs in there.
I'm not a Ron DeSantis fan.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
I'll catch up with you later on what the punchline was. That one. Either way, man, it's tough times, man. Tough times in California, and the way to start the year off with a bang. They're shutting down all the labs. That's right. According to SF Gates, Lester Black, in a shot to the bow for a number of Golden State operators, California has officially shut down testing of popular products at a majority of cannabis labs previously certified to check the potency of cannabis flower, a move intended to combat widespread labeling scams in the industry. Right, so to fight the out-of-control lab shopping issue, California Department of Cannabis Control rolled out new requirements for testing flower, including bud and non-infused pre-rolls. According to the DCC's website, as of January 3rd, only 12 of the state's 38 labs had met the new requirements. Non-compliant labs can still test other products, including edibles and vape pens, but until they prove that they can meet the new standards, they'll be blocked from testing flower, by far the most popular category of legal weed. Per the article, California law requires all cannabis products to be tested at state-certified labs for contaminants like pesticides, as well as potency for THC, the most common intoxicant found in cannabis. On packages of cannabis flower, the THC potency displayed as a percentage similar to how beer or wine is labeled with alcohol percentages. DCC doesn't expect the reduction in licensed labs to delay any products from hitting the market. What do you think about that, Jason? And more labs will likely be approved in the future, said David Hafner, spokesman for the agency. We don't expect any delays, but they could happen, Hafner said in an email to SFK. Regardless, our focus is enforcing the rules, and we encourage the industry to work with the labs utilizing the approved method, end quote. New regulations are a result of the law passed by state legislature in 2021 in an effort to fight labeling fraud, or as we call it, lab shopping, in the illegal weed market. Customers tend to pay more for pot products labeled with higher THC content, creating an incentive for labs to inflate results of their tests so the customers and farmers who sell wholesale cannabis can charge more for their products. So this is definitely a big shock to the system, and it's been hanging there for a while, and they're finally going to enforce that. All of these labs are shut down, and apparently only 7 currently can lab test flower. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street. Love to hear what you guys think about this one. Is this going to stop the lab shopping?
I mean, well, it's only going to allow you to choose from 7 different labs. That's for sure. But I think it's only temporary.
Monopoly group there.
I think it's only temporary that these 7 labs have the monopoly on testing flower.
Yeah, until more get approved. Exactly. The other ones aren't up to par.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, the DCC needs to do this because there needs to be standardization in regards with the testing results, since we're allowing for the whole consumer base to rely on the onerous of THC percentages when they're choosing their cannabis products.
Whatever happened to that $11 million that they gave San Diego State to make the lab testing uniform across the industry?
Well, I'm sure that well, that's what I'm saying. I'm sure that $11 million went to creating this program, because all the labs have a certain SOP that they have to adhere to in regards with flower testing. That's why they made it this, and those are the only 7 labs that have passed the muster of the state's critique in their lab testing. Yeah, what you got?
Smaller.
Yeah, find the money, Rico.
I'm looking for the money down
I don't
here,
think they yet have a standard that the state will approve that you can calibrate your machines, and I think that still is a problem, because you can have all the SOPs you want, but if you can't calibrate that machine the same standard every time, then at least there's some wiggle room for the results. I think they were all just phony as hell.
To my understanding, Dale, is that the state has a specific SOP for how they have to calibrate their machines, just like you said, and they have to adhere to that every single time for every single flower test. Therefore, this should put a dent or a stoppage in the inflation of artificial THC percentages.
Do you think it's going to lead to a huge drop in THC percentage in California cannabis?
Customers are going to get sticker shock, and I think it's going to be the first time that you're going to see people
Real
that are people that are able to sell their older product faster than their newer product because it'll have a higher THC percentage.
Ooh,
I mean, I think the sticker shock is going to come from customers, wholesale customers who have less choices for testing labs, knowing that it's the rarest license type in California and understanding that this is now a supply chain business. And when you only have a handful, single-digit number of labs in the largest cannabis market in the state and in a very geographically diverse sub-markets, I think it's going to raise the cost of testing to producers.
Oh, I think Oh, go ahead, Tony.
I think that the consumer is I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Fearless leader, but I agree with our host because I was just sitting here thinking about that, and I'm like, yo, and on top of that, they're going to pay because then the consumer is going to have to pay.
Of course.
So, and you know what happens after that? This is something that me and my brother Rico Lamitte would say: the trap will always win.
Yeah, the trap's just going to use Photoshop for all their lab tests.
The trap is going to lie about them. The trap is going to be like 30%.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to use Photoshop to make all their COAs.
Photoshop's too expensive. They're using Canva.
What about Adobe? What about Adobe Illustrator?
I can see that too.
That's Photoshop or Illustrator for the decks for making
exactly. But interesting. We got Dr. Mark Sheldon in the chat, and he says that machine calibration is not the issue, and he also says it's hard to make return on investment for testing labs, which need more than $1 million in capital to get the instrumentation required.
Yeah, I think it's like 3 million, right?
He said more than $1 million. Yeah, so I think in between 1 and 3 million, I think you're going to be able to get the equipment.
Yeah, it's expensive as hell. It's the least attainable license to get, and up until now, it has been the least regulated.
It is the least regulated, that's for sure. And I'd say even now it's still the least regulated. They just have some SOPs in place that they need to follow, and it's only really these 7 labs that are flower testing that they need to do it. All the other labs are just out trying to search for all the gummy clients they can find right now.
Right. I thought it was good to see SC Labs and Bel Costa, my guys over there, Nate over at Bel Costa and Alec over at
I
SC
spoke with
Labs.
Alec last night actually about this whole thing, and Lester's article dropped actually while we were talking.
Are you serious?
And he wasn't too concerned about some of the commentary that people had about this issue regarding whether there'll be a bottleneck. I know that Lester talked about that in his, and whether or not the market will truly be affected. He feels like at this point the truth will come out and it will actually benefit the consumers who will realize that THC potency is not the definitive way to determine quality.
I don't think that the average consumer is going to determine that on their own. I don't think they're smart enough to do that.
No. We were talking about this I don't want to say last week. Talk about it's like you're paying $80 for a bottle of or a fifth of Everclear. Are you going to do that? You're going to buy spend top shelf pricing on grain alcohol? No. But that's what people are pretty much doing. They're paying a premium for something that's just going to smack you in your face. It's not really going to get you the high that you want, right? But they believe what they want to believe. Just like the whole indica sativa thing, it's all about marketing.
I think Alec Dixon and SC Labs may be a little insulated from some of the conversation in so much as they probably already attract the type of testing customers that want to understand the cannabis products that are being tested, want to understand the terpenes. They've been at the forefront of this conversation around more robust understanding of the entourage effect and the other inputs and how those actually affect the end user / consumer experience. And so I would imagine that SC Labs already attracts the type of customer that understands that potency from a THC perspective is a myopic way of looking at it. They recently won an award in Vegas, and Dixon's been doing this testing for longer than many people have been in regulated cannabis. I don't know that gives them a comprehensive perspective on the entire industry. And I think that they'll be the least affected by some of this because they've already been innovating and at the forefront of the conversations around education and terpenes. The only thing I would say as a skeptic is we've been having this conversation about educating the consumer beyond THC potency for 5 or 6 years now. And the truth is the consumer doesn't seem that motivated to be educated. What they seem to be motivated to have is value. And we can't have value in regulated cannabis until we have tax reform.
Yeah, I think Alec and Nate over at Bel Costa, they've been beating that drum, man, since 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
It's like big ups to them. I'm glad they're on that list, and they have been trying to get that messaging out. And is even before we were really legally able to do shit out here, they were actually saying that that's one of the issues that we need to tell the new common lay consumer that was going to be coming into the market is like, yo, like, high THC is not where you want to be, and it's all about the entourage effect. But people buy what they want to buy.
So,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
so here's shout out to Bel Costa and SC Labs and all of the other 7 labs that made it through.
7 finalists.
Yeah, the 7 finalists. Yes, but Dr. Mark brings up another interesting point. He says a big issue with testing is needing to report potency on a dry weight basis, which all samples that come in are not dried. So in the rapid drying, terpenes are lost and THC percentages go up. And that looks like that's going to be a hack for people within the space to just submit their wet weed for testing and package it wet. Man, I feel sorry for the consumer if people are jarring up.
There's always a loophole, and people. It's all about the money, right?
Yep, it is. It is.
It's all about the money.
You know,
there's an industry built on loopholes. I literally just said the same thing yesterday.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Oh yeah, look at Rochelle's getting it right now. Mm-hmm.
Get it, Rochelle.
Is that some Delta 8, Rochelle?
God, this is real weed, my friend. Real apple.
THCA.
Oh,
what it
yeah.
is.
THCA.
Leave her alone. It's legal.
THCA. They love that shit out there. Oh,
THCA.
Oh, man.
You know what's crazy? Also, I just seen somebody get arrested for smoking THCA.
Yeah. Yeah, they got jacked at the bus stop and then for buying it from a head shop and smoking it. Yeah, we all saw it. Everybody saw it. We keep referencing it. Yep. People getting at the same time.
Technically, they
were smoking it. Yeah, they weren't. Yeah,
they lit THCA on fire.
Yeah, which makes THC Delta 9 because it's not THC Delta 9 until you decarboxylate it, which means lighting it on fire. And on that, we're gonna go to a commercial break and we're gonna be right back.